So last time we have seen some properties, right? So today what we are going to do is we are going to start one important topic, that is positioning and layouts. Okay. So in the next week, we will start designing web pages. But before that, you should understand how you can lay out your contents. Okay. So for that, a basic positioning you should know. Okay. So let's begin first by um, let's let's create some divs. Okay. So what I have done today is I've just created another folder called CSS4. Okay. And inside that I have created one file called index.html and one CSS called main.css. And I have copied one, sorry, I have copied one image also that I will use later. Okay. So this is the current status. Okay. And I've linked it to the file. Okay. And if you can see, it is open on the right. If I type anything, it comes over here. So everything is working, right? So now let's begin by creating some divs. Okay. So now usually what we do is I type div, press tab, and it auto completes the closing and the opening tags. Okay. Then inside that I would give class and let's say uh, wrapper. Okay. So this is what I normally do, right? But since we are using Emmet, or basically Emmet in Visual Studio Code, there is a shorthand for this also. So if you want to create a div with a class wrapper, so you don't have to type div at all. You just have to type dot wrapper. Okay. So dot and the name of the class that you want, and press tab. What it does is it creates the div and it also sets the class as wrapper. Okay. Instead of dot, if you use hash and then you press tab, you can see it does the same thing, but only the ID is set as wrapper. Okay. So if you use hash, the name, and tab, it will create an ID. So this is just a shorthand for, creating uh, classes. Okay. Or sort of divs. So I have created one div called wrapper. Okay. So this is going to wrap all my content. And then I'm going to create another div. Let's call it box one. Okay. So that is also a class. Then I can create a few more. Okay. So box two and box three. Okay. So I have now three classes. If I save, obviously nothing is visible because even though the boxes are there is no content. Okay. So let me put some content. So lorem 10. Okay. So lorem 10. And if I press tab, it will create a sentence which has 10 words. Okay. So you can see it has created this. Now, if I save it, it makes this particular text visible. Okay. Similarly, I can make another of lorem 20. If I press tab, it creates a little bigger text, and I can have a last one. Let's say lorem 40. Okay. So it contains 40 words. Okay. So that is done. So I have three boxes now. Okay. So now let's see how to style this. Okay. Now styling, whenever you start your styling part. Okay. Let me just zoom it a little. Okay. So whenever we want to style or start the layout, always last time also I have mentioned, always start with this. Okay. So this should be there in every, uh, what do you say? Every CSS. Okay. So this should be your first line. That is because if I put a margin over here, okay, I want to reset the margin that is by default there in the browser. Okay. So I don't want that margin. So I am going to do that. And now you can see the text is exactly touching the borders. Okay. So that is what I want. Second thing I do is box sizing. I will convert it into border box. Okay. So these two things is required, for better layouts. Okay. So next, what I want to do is I want to change, I want to set the color of these particular elements. Okay. So if I want to set the color, I can set it by accessing the class, right? So I can say box one, the color, I can say background color of, let's say, let me select some color which is okay. So let this be the color. If I save it, you can see this is how the color looks. Similarly, I'm going to Control Shift and D, which will duplicate the content. Okay. So I pressed it twice. So it has duplicated twice, and I can now make it 2 and make it 3. Okay. If I save it, everything becomes red. That is not what I want. So I will change the color. Okay. Now, if I save it, you can see now I have 3 divs. This is just to show you that, how the boxes look. Okay. Now I would like to do one more thing. Okay. So I will, now if you look at it, uh, how I want to target all the 3 divs. Okay. So all these 3 divs, can anybody tell me how I can target all these 3 divs without accessing it individually? Okay. Now here I have not used ID. Okay. So one thing to note is I have given a unique name as a class. Okay. Because the name is your choice, you can uh, set a unique name for the class also. Okay. And then you can uniquely access it. So that is completely up to you. Okay. So now what I want is I want to access all these 3 divs together. Can anybody tell me how I can do that? There are multiple ways of doing it. A class is already there. Okay. So a class is already there. So uh, I will show you three ways of doing the same thing. Okay. Let's look at the first way. Okay. So the first way is you can select the parent. Okay. So you just find this is the div that these are all the divs that you want, right? So just find out whether is there a parent or not. Okay. So you can see this is the parent, and can I access that parent? So I can access with this particular class, right? So I will go there, wrapper. Okay. And to access all the divs inside wrapper, I will just put space and say div. Okay. So this will access all the divs inside wrapper. Okay. So now I can say border 1 pixel solid, and let's say gray. Okay. So now it has a nice little border around it. Okay. Now this is one way of doing it. The second way would be, I think you must have guessed it already. So this will be box 1, comma, box 2, comma, sorry, I forgot the dot, and dot box 3. Okay. So that this comma is used to select multiple elements. Okay. So I can use comma and save. It gives you the same result. Okay. So obviously you can do this, but then just imagine if you add few more divs, what will happen? Okay. So in later stage, you come over here and add a few more divs. This will not work. Okay. So this will not work. Let me show you why. Okay. So let me add a few more divs. Let me call this as box 4 and box 5. If I save it, you can see the styles, that border style is not applying in the last 2. Okay. The reason, because you have done till 3 only. Okay. But if you would have set the last one, that means this particular way of accessing it, you can see the difference. Okay, any number of divs you put, it is going to work. Okay, so that is the beauty of this. But the problem is, you have, even if let's suppose you have these, you want to select only these 3 divs and not the last 2, then that is not possible with the help of this particular syntax, because this will select everything, all the divs inside wrapper. Okay, you cannot target specific divs. But let's suppose you want to target specific divs only. Okay, so I want the style to be applied in 2 and 4. Okay, so for that, then the only option is to use this. Okay, so I will use box 2, box 4. Okay, so now you can see this comma. Okay, so now you can see the border that is there. Okay, so this border, it is there in the green one and the 4th one. Okay, so this is one way of doing it, but the actual way that most of us do this is slightly different. Okay, so I will show you, and you will find this everywhere, whether you are using Bootstrap or whether you are using any framework of your choice. You will see the next trick being used everywhere. Okay, so let's see how that is done. So whenever I want to select a group of elements, what I normally do, what I do is, let me first give it a name. Okay, so I have just given it a name, bordered. Okay, so this is a custom name. What I have decided some name and I have given it bordered. Okay, now I want this to be applied in box number 2 and box number 4. Okay, so all I will do is come over here. Okay, let me first save it. So you can see now it is applied nowhere. Okay, so that border is not there anywhere. Now let me come over here and I want to add it in box number 2. So the beauty of using classes is you can add multiple classes inside one div. Okay, so till now we have seen only you can add only one class, but actually in classes you can add multiple classes. Okay, so let's see how to do it. Only thing you have to do is get inside the quotes, press space and add whatever class you want. That's it. So now this particular div has 2 classes. One is box 2 and one is border 2. Okay, so similarly I can put that in the 4th one also. And now you can see this is how we normally do in the latest scenario, in latest frameworks and all, in Bootstrap, in Foundation, everywhere you will see this concept where you create small styles. Let's say for example, I create another style, red BG. Okay, so I will select a style called red BG. Okay, so this name is your choice. Okay, and I will now give background color of red. Okay, and color of white. Okay, you can create multiple styles. So once I do that, obviously it is not applied anywhere, but now I can apply that style to some of the boxes. Okay, so let's suppose I want to apply this to box 5. If I save it, you can see it is applied in box 5. Similarly, I want it to be applied in box 4 also. Okay, so box 4 already has 2 classes. I am adding a 3rd class. You can see the beauty. Okay, so this is how the things work. Okay, so let's come back to our CSS. Now we have this particular thing ready, right? Let me reset. So this is how the actual size of the website is right now. Okay, so now let's begin with going ahead. Let's see how we can use floats and other things. Okay, now before that, I want to add one more thing inside the last div. Okay, so this is my box 5. Okay, and here I want to add an image also. Okay, so image, in the images I have a face.png, and now if I save it, you can see I have an image that is aligned. Okay, the width of it is too big, so what I can do is I can go to box 5. Okay, so box 5, and inside that image, okay, so I want to set the image size. Okay, now obviously I could have come over here and set the width. This is possible, but once we move on to CSS, we don't do anything in the HTML. Okay, that you should remember. That's why I have not set it over here. Okay, so I'm going to set the width from the CSS only. Okay, so you can see I can select box 5, and this image tag is inside box 5. So how to get to that? I will select box 5, and inside that just add a space and type img. So that will select the image, not the box 5. Okay, and now I can set the width. So for setting the width, it is width, and you can set the size, let's say 100 pixels. And if you save it, now this becomes this is the size of the image. Okay, now what does now let's see how the float property works. Okay, so what I want is, if you have read newspapers, the text that you see will flow around the images. Okay, so if I want something like that, okay, let me just reduce the size a little, 50 pixels. Okay, so this is the size of my image. If I want this text to be flowing around the image, what I can do is I can do something called as float. Okay, and if I do float property, and if I say left, just see what happens. Okay, so it basically let me just reduce the size of it a little. Okay, and the text is very less. Let me just increase the text a little. Okay, so this is the div that we are working on. Okay, so you can see the difference, what exactly is happening. Okay, so before we set the float, okay, so let me remove float and show you. If I remove the float and save, you can see the image is becoming like an inline element. Okay, so the it's called inline block element. Okay, so this particular thing is coming first, and after the image ends, then the text starts. Okay, that is fine, but I don't want like this. I want the image and text to be there wrapping each other. Okay, so for that I will do float, and you can see now the text goes along with the, you can see from here, the text is going, it's wrapping it right. Now the problem here is there is no proper spacing. Okay, so the spacing always you can adjust with the help of margin. Okay, so you can use either margin or padding. Now since it is outer spacing, I can set using margin. Okay, so margin, let's give a margin of 10 pixels around it. So now you can see it creates an space between, which separates the text with the image. Okay, so this you can do. This is for doing float. Okay, but okay, so once this part is done, now what I want to do, this is the actual purpose of using float. Okay, but then developers realize that float can be applied to anything. Okay, any element. So they did something like this. I will show you. I selected wrapper. Wrapper is nothing but this particular, what do you say, this outer div. Okay, and inside that I want to select all the divs. Okay, so if I want to select all the divs, I will set it as I will put div out after that. So now all the divs inside wrapper will be selected, and I'm going to set float left. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so if I do float left, now obviously nothing actually happens because you have not set any width to the box. Okay, so everything is taking 100% width, so it does not make any sense for doing float. Now let's set a width now. Okay, so let's set a width of, let's say, 300 pixels. Okay, so if I set the width to 300 pixels, and now you can see how the things work. Okay, so if I go to 100%, my 100% image, sorry, 100% zoom, you can see what is happening, right? So everything is, uh, you know, it's, if I don't use float and if I use only width, okay, let me show you what happens. So you can see the width of the div reduced to only 300 pixels, but they are still a block level element. Okay, so they will have a new line after every element. So once this is done, the next element will come on a new line. Then the next element will come on a new line. Okay, but if you add float to all these things, okay, so let's suppose if I add float to the first box, okay, so let's say float left to the first one, it will not make any difference because it is already on the right side. Okay, let me do float on the second one. Okay, so if I do float on the second one, this will now become next, will come next to the first one. Okay, so you can see what is happening. Okay, if I do float to the third one, the third div also goes up. Okay, so this is what the float does. Okay, and when I do float on this particular wrapper div, it is actually applying float to everything, right? So in that way, I don't have to specify this manually in each and every section. Okay, and save it, and now you can see how the things look. Okay, now for simplicity, I will just comment out the last two divs because I don't need it right now. Okay, and this is what I have, right? Let me, okay, so this is what I have, and let's suppose you want the design to be fluid. Okay, right now if I do this, you can see it wraps. Okay, but if you want the design to be fluid, what you can do is you can use either percentages. Okay, so 30%. So in this case, if you do 30%, you can see the size of my, it is always going to be 3 column. Okay, so this is the way people used to do layouts previously. Okay, so this was one simple trick of creating layouts. Uh, now obviously once you know this, you can you must have already understood that obviously we can do float right also. Okay, and everything goes to the right. Okay, similarly we can center but not using float. Okay, so that I will show you a little later how you can center the things. Let me do left only. Okay, now once our float property is done, okay, now I want, let's suppose I want to center it. Okay, so to center anything, any element, what you can do is you have to find out what the contents are. Okay, so there are two ways of centering it. Let me show you the first way. Okay, so first of all, you, if you inspect the elements, and you can see this is taking this much width, this much, and this much, and the wrapper is taking uh, around 948 pixels. Okay, so 536 and the wrapper is 536. So the wrapper is taking the entire width. Okay, so just to distinguish between them, let me give the wrapper a color. Okay, so WRAPPER, wrapper, and let's give a background color of something like azure. Okay, azure is okay. So okay, so basically it is behind it, so that's why we cannot see it. That is fine. And if I want to actually see it, I can set a height of, let's say, 500 pixels and save it. Now you can see the actual wrapper. Okay, so you can see the wrapper. So the wrapper is there, which is extending, and the divs that are there, that is floated left or right. Okay, now you want, if you want to center it, center that particular div, and your elements are inside and you have some space on the left and right. Okay, so let me show you how we can do it. um, I can come over here. Okay, so there are multiple ways of doing this. A simple way is using a little bit of calculation. Okay, so you can see the width of my each div is 30%, right? So this is 30%. This div is 30%. That means 60%, and this div is 30%. So total width is 90%, right? So what is remaining is 10%, right? So if 10% is remaining, if I want this to be centered, what I can do is I can have 5% on the left, 5% on the right. Okay, so all I have to do is come over here in the wrapper, and I can add a padding left of, let's say, 5%. Okay, so now you can see it is almost centered. Okay, uh, you can increase it a little more, let's say 6%. Okay, so it looks almost centered, right? There is another way in which you can align the items, that is using margin. Okay, so whenever you want to align it using that, I will show you another example of that when we want to center anything in horizontally. Okay, so that thing we will do right now. To show you the position, this much is enough. Okay, so the main important thing that I want to cover today is called positioning. Okay, so for positioning to work, you have to understand how position works. Okay, so there are 5 different types of positions that can be there. Okay, so let me apply the positions in box 2. Okay, so this green one. Then in box 2, I can come and set the position and set it to static. Okay, so by default, the position is always static. Okay, so right now, whatever you see is static. So if I save it, it is not going to change at all. Okay, now the first thing that we're going to learn is relative. Okay, so let's take relative. Okay, and if I do position relative and save, nothing actually happens again. Okay, now what is this position relative? Position relative means by default, when it was static, what is the location of your div? Okay, so right now my location is at this particular place. Okay, now relative means from that particular place, where do you want to go? Okay, so setting that is very simple. Position relative is not going to affect anything unless you do something with the top. Okay, so now you're setting where do you want to go. Okay, so top, I want to go down 20 pixels, and left, I want to go left 20 pixels. Okay. So once I save it, now you can see the difference. Okay. So it is going 20 pixels down, 20 pixels left. Okay. Uh, from the original. So if I can just zoom it, this, if you can see my mouse location. So this is my actual location where this div should have been. But because the position is relative and I've set top and left, now it is shifted from there to here. Okay. So that is called as relative. Okay. Now, very important thing to note is the other two divs are not affected because of the second, the second one. Okay. So, okay. Okay, Adnan Sheikh, sir, what determines which div would be above other div? Okay, that is a very good question, and in fact, I was going to mention that only next. Okay, so now you can see in this particular case, when I shifted it, green one is coming on top of the other ones. Okay, that is because there is something called as Z index. Okay, Z index is nothing but, you know, the depth in which in the layer in which the divs are. Okay, so by default everyone is in Z index 1. Okay, so this is in Z index 1, this is in Z index 1. Okay, so whenever you position anything relative, that becomes higher, takes higher precedence. Okay, so it goes above uh, other divs. Okay, but you can change it. Okay, so if you want to change it, all you have to do is set the Z index and set the Z index to -1 maybe. Okay, and save it. Now you can see it is can anyone tell me where did it go? Any idea where it has gone? Behind the background, exactly. It is not behind the background, behind the wrapper. Okay, so this red element that you see is the wrapper. Okay, so it is behind the wrapper. Now let me show you. This was the background color, right? So let me take RGBA and let me add an opacity of 0.2. Okay, so if I do RGBA, then it becomes the A part is the opacity. Okay, so if I save it, now you can see, you can lightly see it. Okay, so let me increase it to 0.5. Okay, so you can see you can see through the background. Okay, so it is behind the wrapper. Okay, the basic idea is uh, if you set your position as static, that is by default all the divs are static, then relative divs take higher precedence, right? So relative divs, if you set the Z index, it will not work. Okay, so if you have two relative elements, then there you can set the Z index. Okay, so let's say for example, if you have seen that if I don't have relative, then the relative div that was green, that was taking the highest precedence. Whatever is the Z index, it does not matter. Okay, so if I put this also, that is the blue or violet, whatever is that it is. Okay, so that also is relative. Now the Z index affects. Okay, so now I can change the Z index. Okay, I can take anyone in front and anyone in back. Okay, so if I want this to be, let's say 2 and this is 1, then definitely blue one will come in front. But if I do this 2 and this as 1, then one will come in front. Okay, so that is about position relative. Okay, now let's do the next one. The next one is position absolute. Okay, so let me set position absolute. Let me remove first both these things. Okay, and let me put it as absolute. Okay, and save it. Okay, Now, as soon as I do this, let me reset. Okay. Now, as soon as I do this, my pos my what do you say, that element box 2 is coming over here. Okay. I don't know whether you can see it properly. The box 2 is overlapping, I can say. Okay. Now, the thing to note over here is this particular element has to be, are there any queries? Okay. This particular element, you may think it is positioned somewhere, but it is not positioned anywhere right now. But what absolute positioning means is you are not positioning relative to any particular location. You are positioning relative to some parent. Okay. So let's suppose I want to position this based on the wrapper. Okay. So where is my wrapper? My wrapper is starting at this particular edge. Okay. So this particular location, right? So what I want is, I want to position this particular element with respect to that. Okay. Now to do that, what I can do is, first of all, wherever you want the element to be positioned absolute, the parent should be relative. Okay. So that is very important to understand. Whenever you want to position anything absolute, you have to make the parent of it relative. Okay. So where is the parent? So the box 2 is over here, and the parent of box 2 is wrapper. Okay. So I want to make the wrapper relative. Okay. So I will come to this particular tag and make this position relative. Okay. So once I do that, now I can come to my box 2 and set the top and bottom. Okay. So let's say top 0 pixels, and you can use top, left, right, bottom, etc. Okay. So, and also I can set the left as 0 pixels. Okay. And you can see I have exactly aligned it with the starting of the wrapper. Okay. And you can see a little bit of box 1 also now. Okay. So now the advantage of using absolute is, whenever you want to do uh, overlapping areas. Okay. So you want to overlap one image on top of another image and rotate it slightly, or you want to have multiple divs stacked on top of each other. Okay. Like when you do sliders, okay, you must have seen in many websites. In fact, in our website also, if you open our website, so you can see this slider, right? So these, what are these sliders? These sliders are nothing but absolutely positioned images. Okay. And you are displaying only one image at a time. That is the thing that is going on, right? So this is the use of absolute positioning. Okay. So you can have multiple things at the same place. Okay. So that is the use of this absolute positioning. Now, obviously I can set the locations as I want. Let's say I want it to be at the bottom corner. Okay. So what I can do is, I can set right as 0 pixels and left as 0 pixels. Okay. So sorry, not left, bottom as 0 pixels. So now you can see that particular element is now at the bottom of this particular wrapper. Okay. So the wrapper is what is used as the reference. Okay. So obviously if I change, if the wrapper is not relative. Okay. So if I remove this part of the relative, then it will take the next parent, whoever is relative. Okay. So that is very important to understand. If nobody is there in the, as a parent who is relative, it will go to the body. Okay. So body is always relative, I can say. Okay. position relative. So if nothing is there, it will go to body. Okay. Now the next one that I would like to show you is position fixed. Okay. Position fixed. Now position fixed, we have seen position relative, we have seen position absolute, and now the next one is position fixed. Now it is important to understand how these three differ. Okay. Position relative means wherever was the current position of the actual position of that particular div, with respect to that, where do you want to position it, right? Position absolute means it is completely removed from the flow, then it is positioning based on some other element. Okay. Like in our case, we have positioned it based on the wrapper. Okay. So you can see, as soon as I put this absolute, it is removed from the flow. Okay. So the third one comes next to the first one. The third div comes next to the first one. So this is very important to understand, that position static and position relative, they do not disturb the flow. Okay. The flow remains the same, but position fixed and position absolute, they will completely change the orientation. Okay. Or basically the flow of your code. Okay. So now if I do fixed, what fixed does is, it is not based on where your parent relative is. Okay. It is directly based on your body. Okay. So whatever is the body, with respect to that, you are positioning it. Okay. So let's see, if I do bottom 0 and right 0, let us see where does it go. Okay. Let's save it. Now you can see it goes to the bottom of the page. Okay. So that is the use of this. You can make it on the top also. So you can see now it goes to the top, right? The advantage is you can create buttons. If I don't know whether you have seen it or not, if you open your mobile app, Google Gmail, okay, you will see a button at the bottom which says create, compose a plus symbol, right? So you can do that with the help of fixed layout. Okay. So I will show you that. Okay. So for that, let me take, I will set the bottom. Okay. And let me take, let's say from bottom, I want 10%. Okay. I can set it as 150 pixels and 150 pixels. Okay. So you can see now it is over here. Okay. So obviously you will have to change this particular text to something different. Okay. So then based on that, you can get a different element. You can have an icon. We will see how to use icons also. So you can have an icon over there of plus sign, and then you can position this using this value. Okay. So I think 150 is too much. Let us take 50. Okay. So this is how it will look. Okay. So now you may think that this will scroll along with the element, right? So let me just show you. Let us take a wrapper height. Let me change the wrapper height to 200 VH. Okay. So as soon as I do wrapper height 200 VH, you can see I get a scroll bar. Okay. Now if I scroll it, you can see that particular element never changes its place. Okay. So that is very important to understand. Your if you do fixed, then it is going to be there no matter what. Okay. So you can see I am scrolling, the other contents are flowing, but this particular div remains at that place. Okay. And if I do this absolute, okay, if I set this as absolute, and let me make this as top 50 pixels. Okay. And save it. Now you can see my div is coming somewhere over here. Okay. But if I scroll, let's see what happens. If I scroll, that div goes along with the contents. Okay. So that is very important to understand between absolute and fixed. Okay. So when you're doing absolute, the contents No, it maintains the flow. Sorry, it scrolls along with the content. But when you use fixed over here, now as soon as I do fix, just see, as such no difference happens. But if I scroll, you can see the difference. Okay, so it is fixed over there. Okay, so at any point of time you think that something is very important and it should be always there on the screen, then you can do fixed. Okay. The last one that I would like to show is called as sticky. Sticky. Okay. Now, in case of sticky, I will just remove this. In sticky, it maintains the flow. Okay, so that is very important. You can see it is back inside the flow. So one thing to note over here, your static, that is the default behavior, your relative and your sticky, all of them will keep the flow of your document same. Okay, so that means it will occupy that particular space. But now look at the beauty of this particular thing. Let me scroll this and show you. Let me set the value also, left 0 pixels. Okay, so now you can see once I set the position and the dimensions, sorry, where I want to set the values. Now if I scroll, you can see what is the difference. Okay. Okay, now you are not, you will not be able to see it properly right now, but let me put a margin on top. Margin top for wrapper, let's say 100 pixels. Okay, so now you can see this is my document. I have created a margin on top. Okay, so now if I scroll, just see what happens. Okay, when I scroll, it is as scrolling as if there is nothing, right? So it is scrolling like normal div only. But as soon as I scroll even further, you can see the difference. Okay, so you must have seen this in many websites where you have a menu bar which will be shown, and it looks like a normal menu bar, but when you scroll, the menu bar goes to the top and sticks over there. Okay, so that is why it is called sticky. Okay, so it looks like it is in the normal flow, but when you scroll it, it sticks to the top. Okay, so that is very nice when you're creating menu bars which you want always to be there in your document. Okay. Okay, any queries till now? um, yes, fixed one will be again always in the highest priority. Adnan Sheikh is asking, sir, the fixed one will always be on the higher priority. Yes, fixed one is going to be on the highest priority, but if there are two fixed ones, then you can set the Z index. Okay, other than that, like the same way we saw relative and absolute, so all the relatives will have the same will follow the Z index values, all the absolutes will follow the Z index values, and all the fixed will follow the Z index values. Okay, so you cannot set the you cannot take what do you say, absolute, set it to Z index 100, and then in fixed if you set Z index 200, or sorry, Z index 50, that will not take effect. Okay, because all these positions, they have their own Z index values. Okay, so that is very important to understand. So in between that you can set the so if a fixed has higher you can say uh, orientation in the Z axis. Okay, so Z axis is your axis through which you are looking at the screen. Okay, so negative means it is more inside and positive means it is more outside. Okay, any other doubts? Okay, so before we finish, one last thing I would like to show you is, let's suppose I want to, at any point of time, you want to hide something. Okay, you want to completely hide it from the flow. What you can do is you can go to that particular div, okay, whichever div it is. You can set display to none. Okay, so as soon as I do that, you can see that particular div is now gone. Okay, so I can do this with anything. So this is the display command. We will see more display values. We have seen display inline, we have seen display block and inline block. Okay, so these three things we have seen. Now this is the fourth one that we are going to see, that is display none. Okay, now display none is basically used whenever we want to hide something or completely remove from the document. Okay, so if I do this to box 2, you can see box 2 is now removed. Okay, and I can do it to box 1. Box 1 is removed. Now only box 3 is left. Okay, so that is the advantage of this. You can remove, wrap, complete this entire div also. Okay, so for that you will come to wrapper and do display none, and you can see everything is gone now. Okay, so that is the advantage of doing this. Another thing that people use to hide it is, you can set the opacity. Okay, so let's suppose, let me show you one example, then you can understand it better. Opacity of, let's say, 0. Okay, so you can see the difference. Okay, so if you want to completely remove the element, you can use display none. Okay, so when you do display none, that particular element is completely removed and the other elements take their place. Okay, but if you want the element to be there but it should not be visible, in that case you can set the opacity of that particular element to 0. Okay, so if you set opacity to, let's say, something like 0.5, you can see it is slightly visible. Okay, and so basically opacity is nothing but, the transparency of your content. Okay, so you can increase it to any amount you want. Maximum is 1. Okay, so if you set it to 1, that is the by default value of opacity. You can see this is how it looks. But if you put it as 0, that particular content is now gone, but the place is occupied. Okay, so the place is not gone, but the content is not visible. Okay, so whenever we want to hide something, these are the two methods you can use to hide it. Okay, any queries till now? Okay, so I think no. Okay, cool. So next week onwards we will start layouts. Okay, so we will start designing websites. So I think we are ready to work on real projects. Okay, real projects, I mean, start developing some content. Okay, so till now we have seen is how we can use different attributes to style different parameters. Okay, so next week onwards we will start developing something. Okay, and at that time I will show you how proper layouts can be done using flex boxes and grids. Okay, so that we will cover at the last stage, because that is a little bit complex as compared to what we have learned right now. Okay, okay, then see you in the next week. Thank you.